He'll watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.
Hello everyone and welcome to Armstrong Entertainment. This is Chad here and I saw the movie Scotty Bowers and the Secret History of Hollywood. Now this documentary is based off of the 2012 book Full Service by Scotty Bowers. It's basically a tell-all book about celebrities and their secret sex lives. Now this is all about Scotty Bowers being this, for lack of a better word, a pimp back in the 1940s. He seemed just like this slightly innocent kid. Actually, he wasn't innocent. Who am I kidding? He was this guy who was working at a gas station and he was just trying to make some extra bucks. So he starts meeting celebrities because it's on Sunset Boulevard, and word got around that he could hook you up with a same-sex sexual experience on the DL, because obviously back in the day being gay was not okay and you had to keep that on the DL. But Scotty Bowers was basically a connector of sex workers and these famous celebrities. Now, I read this book about 5 years ago, and I remember while I was reading it, and I just was very, very skeptical. His story seemed embellished maybe a little bit, and the whole thing is he decided not to say any of this until everyone was dead, which is kind of a catch-22 double-edged sword because none of them can defend themselves. So all of the people he's talking about in this book and in this documentary, they've been dead for years. And granted, most of them are pretty obvious. I mean, we all know Rock Hudson was gay, but it's like, I don't want to go into the famous celebrities because that's part of the interesting part about this documentary. But it's hard when you're watching something and they can't really defend themselves. However, I will say after seeing this documentary, I was more sold on the book, and I pretty much believe everything he said because they proved it by showing like pieces of paper and them interviewing the old sex workers who used to work back in the 1940s and 50s who were still alive, and they would also tell the same story. So you know what? It is what it is, but I'm gonna choose to believe it because, I mean, Rock Hudson was gay, so yeah, that's true. Now this documentary wasn't so much about the book as I thought it was going to be. It was basically about Scotty Bowers and his life and just how he grew up, who he was as a person. I think this took place over the course of 5 years, this documentary, give or take a few years. I know he's 90 years old, and by the end of it he's like 95, or he's 95 as of right now, 2018. So I think this documentary started right when the book came out, and they just started following him around with cameras, and he is such a character. He would definitely label me a square, as he says in the movie multiple times, because I am such a prude, and I was getting physically uncomfortable watching this documentary because it was a lot more graphic, and I don't know if crude's the right word, but a lot more graphic than I was expecting it to be, and I was like, oh, I don't know, this feels weird that I'm watching this in this open movie theater. It was kind of, I'm a square, that's all I have to say. Scotty Bowers were just so much cooler than me and so much more open and just comfortable with himself. However, I will say, it was sad watching some of this because you see how he became this person, and he so doesn't think it had anything to do with his child abuse. Wow, I'm really getting into this, but it's just sad to think that he never blamed the fact that he was physically abused as a child as one of the deterrent factors in why he became this person that he became, and it was obviously that's what it was. There were a lot of tender moments in this documentary that I was not expecting, and it gave me some of the feels. So all in all, if you are a fan of documentaries in old Hollywood, which obviously, I don't know if you've seen any of my movie reviews, but I'm obsessed with the 1940s and 50s and old Hollywood, so I just loved seeing all the old footage, all of the old stories. I'm just such a sucker for that. I loved it so much, all of that stuff. So if you're interested in that and that interests you, this is a very niche group for this documentary, but it's open in 40 theaters as of right now. I think it's opening more this coming weekend. But I would say definitely go check it out. It's got some interesting parts, and Scotty Bowers is a little character, and himself, he's climbing on his roof in his 90s. I hope I'm gonna be like that in my 90s. He was like really with it and together. I know now he's had some health scares, but I don't even know why I'm going into that because that has nothing to do with anything. It is called Scotty and the Secret History of Hollywood, and it is playing in 40 theaters near you. Until next time.
He'll watch a movie, then he'll tell you all about it. It's the Armstrong Entertainment Show.